Let's see if we're live yet. We should be. Yes, we're live now. If you want to share it. You're frozen, Toby, for some reason. There we are. All right. Now we're back. All right. All ready to go?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. Well, everyone, welcome to this very first edition of Across the Pond Perspective. We're bridging territories. We're bridging generations. I want to introduce you to my new friend here. This guy reached out to me to say, hey, let's do something. Toby Hurley. Toby, take it away and tell us about yourself and where you are.
Hey, everyone. I'm from England. I actually live in the south coast in Worthing. No one's probably heard of it. No one ever has. It's close to Brighton. But yeah, I'm 22. I used to go to university, University of Brighton. I used to study psychology and criminology for 3 years. In university, I went through some issues. Unfortunately, I went through some mental health problems. So I had to redo year 2, which I did. Unfortunately, I'm in a family where university is, it's important. It's a be all and end all. I wouldn't trade them for a world, my family, but I'm in a family that you go to university, you get a degree, you get a job, and you stay in that job. But that was something that I didn't want. I left university. I was struggling with the decision. I left university in September, just before my 3rd year. The only person who really supported me was my partner, Carla, which I'm very lucky to have her. So when I left, I had no plans at all. At the time, I did a bit of day trading on stocks, which anyone doesn't know. That's where you buy and go on the stock market, buy a stock during the day and sell it on the same day. I did that for a bit. Jumped from opportunity to opportunity. I actually started a coaching course in December. I forked out quite a bit for that, but that was worth it. I later realized that, I'm really into mindset, and that's what I picked for my coaching. I'm all into mindset, especially with the past problems that I've had. My mindset was probably what got me through it. And in February, I came across an opportunity that someone offered me. I was very scared to take it. I did take the opportunity to be in a massive group of people, amazing environment, like-minded entrepreneurs, support. It's like basically a family, really. We're all together and all learning together on mindset and business opportunities. But for the first few weeks, my paradigm, which anyone doesn't know, is your multitude of habits that's built into you. It controls your life, which is why so many people end up getting the same results that they do, because they never change their paradigm. They never have a paradigm shift. My paradigm was fighting with me. I almost left the opportunity, which I'm so grateful I didn't. And now, 3 months later, I'm here. 6 months on from leaving university, I've started my own business. I couldn't be happier. I'm grateful for every day that passes. I'm just loving life, really.
That's awesome, Toby. Guys, excuse me, we got a hair thing going on here, but that's absolutely awesome. My background, I'm Bart Bartlett from St. Louis. You can see a lot of theater stuff in my background. My passion is working with young people, aspiring entrepreneurs, people who are looking for something different. That's why I love the artist world, is because these aspiring artists know their passion is to perform or to write or to be out there, and they will do whatever it takes to make that happen. And Toby mentioned this organization. That's how he and I met. We met just a few weeks ago. We were actually on a Zoom together, and I was hosting the Zoom, and I saw Toby on the Zoom, and we reached out through, of all things, Facebook, and just started chatting and found that we had a great deal of alignment. And he so eloquently put it out there. about the mindset. I don't care what you do, including breathing. Mindset is 90% of everything you do.
Oh, yeah,
Skill is
definitely.
10%. It's just the way life is. And I think so many times we get caught up on making that 10% the greater part of it, and we lose really the whole picture of who we are and what we do. The company that we're part of is called iBoomerang. We're not here to really sell iBoomerang to you, except to say that if it wasn't for that environment, we wouldn't be together. And the
Yeah.
thing I love about what we do is that the underlying mantra of the company, and it's why it's called Boomerang, iBoomerang, is because when you toss out goodwill, goodwill comes back to you. And that's what I just heard from Toby from some of his struggles. You know, he's 22 years old. I'm way past that. We
Still young.
so yeah, I guess, but there's an alignment, a maturity, a connection that happens whenever you are in the same metasphere. I'm going to say of
Law of attraction.
yeah, the law of attraction. Absolutely, that is the key to everything. In fact, the work I do, I rely heavily on the law of attraction. In fact, yesterday I had a person reach out to me from New York. I was actually doing a live Zoom with our group, and he reached out to me and he said, Bart, he said, are you in New York? And I said, I will be next week. And he said, well, I just saw you. I want to know what you're doing. And so I said, well, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm an actor. And I thought, okay, cool. So we just started chatting, and now we're going to have coffee next week or a drink or something. And I'm like,
Wow.
that's just the law of attraction.
Amazing.
So how has that really affected you and helped you grow, Toby?
Well, the law of attraction really has just changed my life. I'm attracting completely different people. The energy you give out is the energy you get back, and that works with who you surround yourself with, who you're talking to, your friends, the people. If you work in a 9 to 5, your work colleagues. It always, when you put out your energy, your law of attraction, you always attract the people who are on your level. Which is how we make friends in school. Is how so why some people unfortunately in school don't make friends, because maybe they're different. They have a different energy about them. As we grow up, a lot of us stay with these friends, childhood friends, like I have. But eventually we all change, and that's why as you grow up, you lose friends along the way, and you gain new ones. Like I've gained Bart, who I consider a friend. I love Bart.
Yeah, I love you too, man. You're amazing.
In the organization in Boomerang, I've met so many amazing people. People, my mentors and my friends, really. I've completely changed, the people I'm attracting. I used to be, I'm not gonna lie, I used to be a negative Nancy. I used to hop around, and my way of life, my attitude towards life was, all negative. Oh, this doesn't work. And it's not that it doesn't work, it's your attitude. And Earl Nightingale talks about it, about the importance of your attitude.
Right.
If your attitude to life is, oh, this doesn't work, I'm not trying this, it's never going to work. If your attitude for example, to learning is, I don't like learning, then you're never going to learn.
Right.
But if your attitude to life is positive and successful, you want to be successful, that's your mindset, then that's what you're going to attract. But there's two key words in that, is persistence and discipline. We all have to be persistent at what we want, and we have to be disciplined in our our activities and our habits that we're doing to get what we want.
Absolutely. I mean, I love that the whole conversation you're having there about self-talk, because self-talk is so important. There's a book that I live by. It's called The 4 Agreements. In fact, on my phone, the 4 agreements are right here on my phone. And the first one, it says, be impeccable with your word. And that is exactly what we're talking about with self-talk there. When you're impeccable with your word, if you're someone that goes out and gossip, you're gonna attract gossipers. If you're someone who's negative, you're gonna attract negative people. Be impeccable with your word. And it goes back to something I put on a post on a comment on your post yesterday. It's my favorite mantra. It's from Dr. Seuss, and it's so true. And it's, be who you are and say what you mean, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. And what's hard about that is often the people that mind are our family members.
Yeah, yeah, very
And
true.
when you look at the grand scheme of things, you look at where you want to go, what you want to become, then they really don't matter that much in what you're trying to create. They matter because they are your family. They're connected. They always will have that bond there. But to get to where you want to be, it's kind of like what one of our mentors tells us. If you're broke and you are struggling with money, you don't take advice from someone else who's struggling with money. You go and you find someone who has the results you want. You take advice from them.
But unfortunately, so many people take advice from people who are broke.
Yep, it's called the comfort zone.
Is exactly my friends, for example. I love them, but they're not exactly rich. They're not, they're as Darren puts it, part of the BBD club, broke,
Right.
busted, and disgusted club.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a negative thing. That's just what it is. That's how we describe it. I was part of it, but my friends are part of that, and I offered them an opportunity to join iBoomerang. They all said no. Two of them came on Zoom calls. I asked my family. They all said no. But if my friends give me advice all the time about certain things and be careful, and that they're really skeptical.
Right.
Like our mentors say, that the more poor or broke people are, the more skeptical they are to things, and that with my friends is true. They're so skeptical of what I'm doing. They don't understand it. But the thing is we're not meant to understand. We're not always meant to understand. We learn to grow to understand things. We don't just get it straight away. That's not what happens.
That's right.
Which is what happened for me in this opportunity in a boomerang. I didn't understand it at all, which is why my paradigm was like, oh, we don't understand this. You don't get out of it. That's what our paradigms do. We don't understand things, but it takes time to understand. And now I've been in this environment for 3 months now. I now understand what it's all about and the greatness of it.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I've been involved with it since the beginning, and I got involved with it for a reason that really took me to another level. I was like you. I was skeptical. I was part of a group that was part of a travel company, and I didn't really want to be a travel agent, though I was. That was not interesting to me. Reason I did it was I was traveling a lot, and someone said to me, "You need to become a travel agent because then you get travel agent rates and you get paid on your own travel." I'm like, "Okay, talk to me." So I became one. Well, then that company merged with Holton's vision, our CEO's vision, and created iBoomerang. And I'll never forget the very first meeting we went to. I had no idea who this man was, and that's how out of touch I was with that universe. But there was something that was going on, and when I sat there and listened to him and watched him, and there was a group of people right over here. When we walked in the hotel, I thought maybe there'd be a couple hundred people, and it's been one of these little, 90-minute meetings, and you sign up and go home. Totally wrong. This thing was all day long. There were well over 1,000 people from all over the world in this room. I was blown away because of this gentleman attracting who was here. And there's a group from Puerto Rico. And I'll never forget Elias, very first guy I met, saw me and we connected, like you and I connected. And he asked me, he said, "Are you part of Holton Bugs' group?" And I said, "No, I don't even know who the guy is." And he said, "Well, he said, you're about to find out." I said, "Well, what advice do you have for me, Elias?" And he said, "Listen to Holton Bugs. Whatever he tells you to do, you do." And I thought, yeah, right. They're going to say, go out, do this, 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 and this. But that wasn't Holton Bugs' message. Holton Bugs' message was really about a mindset. It was about getting inside of you and saying, where do you see yourself fit into this great universe that we're creating here? What is it? And it blew me away. And that's why I've stuck and stayed here.
I love it. I love this environment. I love what it does. An example that I've given before to people about, from my personal perspective, is when we're all growing up, we all have these big goals. We all have these goals to be a millionaire or own this big fancy house or, drive around in a Lamborghini or Ferrari, whatever car you prefer. But the problem is by the time we get to, in England, secondary school, obviously over there it's high school or middle school.
Right.
You know, that our goals are completely dashed. They're gone. We all forget them. Well, I say all. So most people forget them. And actually, I was one of the lucky people. I never forgot my goals. I say it to people all the time. I don't know what it is, but since I was really young, and I know everyone dreams of being a millionaire and everything, but I've had a burning desire that, in my heart, in my stomach, in my gut, that this is what I'm meant to do. My whole life I felt it. Just this is what I'm meant to do. This is where I'm going to get to. This is what I want to do. And I had this big goal inside me. Like Darren says, we grow to goals. We don't get them. We grow towards them. It's growth. And yeah, we live in a society where people's goals are forgotten. Right. Everyone forgets them, and we're trained in school to do all these. I talk about the negatives of school a lot. I don't like talking about negatives, but unfortunately, the school system is one of them. We don't teach children, freedom, how they want to live their own way. We force decisions upon them too early, which is a reason why children's goals are destroyed. They just forget them, and then they end up going out of school to university, college, or apprenticeship, or whatever it is, and then a lot of them end up doing that for a number of years. I know, obviously, the society's changed since 40, 50 years ago, where you get a job, you get all these benefits, and you do it for life.
Right.
But in society now, everyone's always constantly changing jobs, but that's all everyone's chasing. They're just chasing jobs. They're not chasing their dreams, which is the difference between entrepreneurs and people working 9 to 5.
Absolutely. Two things came up when we were just talking about that. One was last night I was on a call. I'm part of a group that's part of a leadership development group, and we're studying John Maxwell. And the question was asked by the moderator. She said, what is the difference between growth and a goal? And I said, well, a goal is here. And too many times when you hit that goal, you think, okay, I've achieved it, and you stop. Growing actually goes past that goal, and you continue to grow. That's what Darren said. Darren Gibson, one of our mentors, says you grow into it. And I was listening to a audio book called Illogical by a young man named Emmanuel Acho, who is a sportscaster here in the States and played professional football here, and went to the same university I went to. And that's what kind of attracted me to it. But he says that you don't set goals. Instead, you set objectives, because with each objective, it's an evaluation process, and you keep growing through that. So that was one thing that came from me. The other thing, when you talked about, getting a job and being on the job and getting all the benefits and then retirement and stuff. I remember when I was in college, my professor, the head of my department that I was a student assistant with him, said to me, he said, you're going to probably change careers at least 4 times in your lifetime. And I thought to myself, no, I'm not. I'm going to go get a job and be there forever and a day. And he was exactly right. I've probably changed careers more than 4 times. And if you call a career, I did this for a while, did that for a while. But as I look back on it, it was all part of the journey to get me to where I am today. And all of those experiences led me up to that journey. So that was cool that you brought that up like that. I hadn't even thought about what Dr. Holland said to me about changing careers at least 4 times in your lifetime, because my parents never did.
Yeah, it's different now, isn't it? Everyone's changing jobs now. Mine was for me, as a young teen in England. I know it's the same for lots of teens. As soon as we get to GCSEs or sixth form, which is age 16 to 18, right, you get a job, and usually the job is down your local pub as a pot wash, or when you're 18, it's a bartender, or right. Eventually when I went to uni, I had a car. I was lucky enough to have a car. I know lots of uni students unfortunately don't have cars. Right. So I actually did delivery. I was a delivery driver. Wow. for Papa John's actually. And I delivered with Deliveroo, and that's so I've already changed careers twice before, but obviously from now I don't, a career isn't what I want anymore. I don't see this career as my path. My goal is my goal is to inspire people, really, inspire people to change who they are. And actually, all about my brand, Future Entrepreneur, is all about recognizing that success is created in the mind. Your mindset is the most important aspect of you. And when you change your mindset and you change your attitude, you change your goals, you change who you are, you become a completely different person.
Absolutely.
And it's only your mind that holds you back from you doing these big things that you want. Say you want to own a Lamborghini, you can do that. It's only your mind and your thoughts that are holding you back. It's nothing else. Like someone said to me, I can't remember who it is. Peter Sage. I love Peter Sage. He's amazing. He's an entrepreneur and talks about the mind. And he says we live in a society where there's more opportunity now than there ever has been.
True.
And so many people, they don't recognize opportunities when they're in front of them. I get people often talking to me, on Messenger or on Instagram going, "Oh, I want an opportunity. I'm waiting for this opportunity." The problem is you can't wait for them. They're already there in front of you. There's opportunities that are there in front of me that I don't even see yet because my wavelength, my frequency in my mind, it's not at that level yet. I don't quite see them. When I talk about opportunities,
powerful.
Yeah.
Damn, Toby, that is so powerful that you already have that level of maturity and your vision. People my age and older never get there. Congratulations. That is so damn powerful, man. That's awesome.
It's like there's opportunities where, I invest. I'm an investor. I've been investing for a few years. I know Darren talks about how important it is. I'm lucky enough that I was started investing before got in an environment, but now I've got other opportunities to invest in. But when I used to talk about investing to my friends or my family, to me, it's an opportunity to invest in the stock market or crypto or wherever I'm investing. And, it's an opportunity to me. To them, it's, oh, no, that's risky. It's too risky. And, Robert Kiyosaki talks about all the time about risk. Those who are too afraid to take risks, they never grow. They never go anywhere. If you're too afraid to take risks, you're never going to. The importance of coming out of our comfort zone. We have to come out of our comfort zone. We have to live uncomfortably to grow. Because when we're uncomfortable, we're growing, and taking risk is uncomfortable. But we all have to do it if you want to grow. If you want your goal. If your goal is to, for example, for me, my dream is to live in the Hamptons in New York City, in Jersey.
We're gonna be neighbors too. We're gonna
be neighbors. That's my dream, but I've got to grow to that goal, objective. I've got to grow to that objective, and I've got to be in my, got to be out of my comfort zone to get there. I'm not going to get there from my comfort zone. I'm not going to get there from not taking risk. And, it's important that we all take risks. And, people who see opportunities, oh, that's a risk. They don't see it as an opportunity, unfortunately.
You're right. In fact, when you said risk, here's my definition of risk. It's an acronym. It means reward in seeking knowledge.
I love that.
Risk is reward in seeking knowledge. You got to continue to grow. And one of the things I love about what Houghton Bucks has created here at iBoomerang is that there's a huge education piece to what we do. So you mentioned that investing, you went out on your own and was studying that and learning how to invest and do those things. And then here comes this component into iBoomerang and what we call Gremlins. This group that I'm part of. We have these things we call your Gremlins talking to you. In fact, there's a book out there. It's amazing called Taming Your Gremlins, and it's your negative mindset coming out saying don't do that, don't do that. When I saw investing, I thought, that's not for me. But then when I saw it was an education platform, because I love to do training and that's my background, I started listening and I met the educators and I was like, this is different. This is amazing. And I'm actually seeking that knowledge, turning that into something productive. And, my vision, my goal, and I shared a little bit with you, is I too going to New York. In fact, when I'm up there next week, I'll be seeking out some places. But my vision is to open a center for aspiring artists where they can come and be a safe zone for them. There'll be a recording studio there. There'll be a dance studio, a rehearsal hall, and there's going to be a multi-purpose room where we can teach, where I can teach, or many of us, you could be there, teaching people about that mindset, about how to create that financial freedom and use that to get to the next level. Because here's what we know. If you rely on one source of income, you're going to be graduating magna cum laude from the BBD club, the Busted and Disgusted club. You are, because that's not part of what the world is anymore. It's moving too fast, and there's too much that's going on with it, and we become too universal. I mean, look at you and me across the pond here. I mean, I feel like I'm sitting right next to you, and we will someday soon. But I mean, just to have that, it's just crazy.
It's 2022. If we're not making income off our smartphones, then there's something wrong. We all use our phones.
Paperweight, otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. We all use our phones, and but the problem is most people are using their phones to spend money rather than make it.
Right.
But you're talking about about what you want to do. Open the Center for the Arts. I also have a big spiritual, a charitable organization that I want to create. I don't mind sharing this. I've shared it before, and it happened 11 years ago. But when I was 11, my dad unfortunately decided to commit suicide. I'm fine with that. I've grown from it. I love my dad. I miss him, but I've got to live my life. And unfortunately, because of as much as anything, also to do with mental health problems, which I too also have been through. So I understand the struggle. But my big goal and big spiritual goal is to open up an organization, a center, which I'll name after my dad, Lawrence Hurley Foundation, which will be giving everyone free mental health care, because unfortunately in the US you have to pay for it. In the UK, here it's called a fairy tale system, where all the budgets that in the NHS, when another section of the NHS is low, they take the budget from mental health and put it in, balance the budget over there. And unfortunately, there's massive waiting list here for mental health. And we talk about mindset, and mental health is part of that, and it is so important. And unfortunately, in the Western world, in certain countries, UK, USA, it's not valued enough, really. Which is why I want to create that organization, the foundation, and make sure that everyone has access to free healthcare, free mental health care, because everyone should. So doesn't matter where you are.
Wow, Toby, that's so powerful. You just unveiled another commonality you and I have. I mean, talk about the law of attraction in the universe on steroids here. My dad died when I was a kid also. And here's my story with that. He had a major heart problem, and went through surgery, was supposed to live 6 weeks. He lived 6 months. I was a kid. He died. It was just the time they were just starting to do all type of heart operations. Fast forward many years, and I'm at the doctor, and I'm not feeling good. And one of my goals growing up, and here's the thing about goals that I want to drive home to people. You got to be specific about your goal. If you're not specific, Mother Nature, the universe, God, Buddha, whoever you believe in, they have a sense of humor, and they will bring up that sense of humor. So here was my goal. My goal was to be a 1%er. That was my goal. I didn't define that. I just said I was going to be a 1%er. So I'm at the doctor. I'm not feeling good. They've been monitoring my heart for some time and all. And the doctor looked at me. He said, we need to get you to a surgeon. I said, what? He said, we need to get you to a surgeon. So I go the next day and meet with the surgeon. This guy's a young man, amazing. He's one that I just immediately connect with. And I said to him, I said, I don't know if I want to go through surgery or not. Can I think about this? And he said, well, you better hurry up. You only got about 4 or 5 days left. And that got my attention. And I said, how did I get this? What happened? What did I do wrong? Did I drink too much? What did I do? And he said, you have a very rare congenital heart defect that you got from your dad. And it's so rare, it's in only 1% of the population. I achieved my goal. And so I remember I went through the surgery. Obviously, I came out okay. And I remember waking up, and the very first thought I had was, there's a reason I woke up. I've got to find that reason. And on May 8th, that'll be 7 years ago. And all of that has taken me through several different stages, but have landed me here to where I know this is the foundation for what's to come. But I also
Wow.
know you got to be open for what's ahead.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love that. I love it.
So yeah, and so
You've
I
always,
get in the mental health thing. Yeah, I struggle with a lot of that too, especially after my dad died, and some of the messaging that was given to me as a very young kid and through my teenage years. That was so hard. And so even today, some people can say something and it will trigger an immediate response from me,
sure, yeah.
and I work on that. But when you look at mental health, especially that, I mean, you look at someone like Simone Biles, just so much courage, and I admire her so much for saying, "I got to step away from this" at the most pinnacle time of her career. When you look at people in that sphere, and I think too, like with artists, sometimes there's so much pressure placed on them to be at their pinnacle, at their peak every moment. An athlete the same way. That's not human nature.
No. I love when you're talking about, the purpose. When you woke up and you realize, you got to find a purpose, why you woke up again.
Right.
And that's exactly how I felt when I was going through my mental health problems in uni. It wasn't nice. I wasn't in a good place. I got through it all, and I thought about it about a year ago. About a year ago, I was like thinking to myself, well, I went through all this. What is my purpose? There's clearly a reason I've gone through this.
Right.
And there's a famous phrase that I live by that I've heard many times, and it is that life happens for you, not against you. It happens for you. There's a reason why life happens in the exact way it does, whether it's teaching you lessons, trying to make you learn from mistakes,
Right.
or trying to, have an experience so you can bring out a certain thought from your creative imagination about something. It could be anything, and Darren talks about it as well, about, miracles are the biggest miracles that happen to us. We don't even see, we don't even witness.
Right.
For example, you walking under a scaffolding. For example, a miracle could have been that held up, even though it was meant to come down. We have no idea. You're walking across the road and missing a car, but we don't even notice it.
Right.
It's just, life happens for us. It doesn't happen against us. And lots of people need to listen to this. And my past self needed to listen to it, because it's happening for a reason. It's not just, it's a plot. You're living a plot in a play.
Right.
And you can make decisions and your free will, but life happens for a reason. Certain things will happen to you for a reason, like they did to you, like they did to me, like I know they do to, loads of other people.
Right. This is crazy. I just got I have my MacBook over here because my big Mac was kind of screwing up this morning a little bit, and all of a sudden messages are starting to appear. Toby, people are watching us and actually responding to us live, which I think is just totally crazy, and I love it. But I want to put something there to a guy who has become a brother to me. We call him Big D, Desmond Donaldson, out of Long Island, New York. He says to us, he says, you have to be specific in what you declare. Life is full of lessons and tests. And man, you've just so eloquently shared that with us that, they call it a mental health struggle, but I'm not so sure it's a struggle as much as it's a test to see how incredibly strong you are. And the strength doesn't come from here. It comes from here. It comes from inside. And that's when you find who you are. That's amazing. That's an amazing story. Yeah. I mean, it's blowing up over here. So I think we got a fan club going here.
I forgot to actually put it. I couldn't actually put my YouTube or Facebook. So I'll just get the recording and put it up there and get even more people. In fact,
that's something, guys. We will have this recorded. And both Toby and I will have our own YouTube channels. And we're just going to do this periodically. I mean, we may do it every week. We may do it, whenever, for sure, while I'm in New York sometime when we got the time. We're going to go live from somewhere. I don't know if it happens or not, but it'll be somewhere.
But just amazing that we're getting so many people responding. I love it. I just hope that we're adding value to people. That's what this is all about. There's two people coming together, like it is across the pond perspective.
Right.
similar perspectives, different experiences, but across the pond, across the Atlantic, coming together to have a meaningful impact on people's lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, Desmond said, you're right. Life happens for you, not to you.
That's it
That,
too. That's it.
that is life. Life happens for you, not to you. That is
Yeah.
so true. But you're right. And I had an aunt that lived in London. I never met her, but I remember as a kid, she used to write me, and I would get this letter and would have the stamp, the postage from London coming in, and I would be so excited. Because to me that was like a dream place to be. And you're talking about earlier about the Ferraris and all, and I'll close this part with this. When I got started with personal development and really got into it, I was always a student of it. And, I listened to people like Dr. Murray Banks and Bob Proctor and Jim Rohn and Les Brown. But I got involved with a company that had a curriculum. And the curriculum, actually, you could study it and get 1/3 of a master's degree. And you could white label it, which means I could put my own name and signature on it. So I said, yeah, let me have part of that. And I think Bob Proctor was one of the ghostwriters for the curriculum. And the guy who was in charge of it, he and I were having a coaching session. And this is where I knew when I become a coach, I don't want to be that type of coach. Right. He said to me, if you could own any car in the world, what car would you own? And his thing was he loved cars. The more cars he owned, the better off he is.
I'm with him on that.
And I said to him, I wouldn't own a car. And he said, what? I said, no, my goal, my vision is to live somewhere where I don't need a car. I said,
wow.
be like New York,
New York,
like London, Paris, where I don't need a car. And if I need to get somewhere, I have a chauffeur. He could not comprehend that. He could not comprehend that I didn't want something tangible sitting in the garage. But here's the thing. When I'm in New York, I'm not going to have a garage. I'm going to be in a high-rise apartment with a big balcony patio. I'm not going to have a garage. I don't need one. So no need to put a car in something I don't have.
Oh, wow. I do want a car. I'm not gonna shy away from that. I do want a car. But I'm not into Ferraris or Lamborghinis.
I was 22. Yeah, I wanted a car too. My car was a Beamer. I wanted a BMW.
No.
I wanted to drive up in a big old BMW. That was my dream as when I was in college and all. But now that I'm older, I'm like, I don't want a car. And I think one of the people that really influences me, and someday I've met him once, just real briefly, but someday I want to meet him again and sit down and talk to him. And that's Keanu Reeves, because Keanu Reeves, the way he lives, I just have so much admiration for him.
Giving away his money, buying meals for the people in the street. I love it.
I mean, hopefully I'll see him on the subway when I'm in New York next week, because that's what he takes. He takes the subway.
The subway, yeah.
I love that because he stayed true to himself. And that is just so powerful to me. So powerful.
I love that.
Yeah. Toby, this has been real. This has been fun. And this has been real fun.
It has. It really has.
Any parting words for our people?
Pardon?
Say any parting words for our guest?
Yeah. If you want, if you want an opportunity to learn, to grow like we have, we've talked about our stories of where we've come from, where we are now. And a big part of that is the organization we're part of and how we're growing together. Importance of personal development. If you want to be a leader, other streams of income. It's 2022. Like I talked about earlier, we should all have different streams of income. Right. Just message one of us, or comment below, or just get in touch with us. Reach out, and we'll connect, and we go on a Zoom or talk, and let's do it. Let's get you connected.
Absolutely, and if you want to join us on this sometime, and have a conversation, by all means, we'll add you to the panel here and just have. I mean, this has been an authentic, unscripted conversation. Had no idea where it was going to go. No. That's what I love about what we have here. And he's right. I mean, if you're interested in just getting to know us, we're not here trying to say, come join our organization, because that's not the right thing if it's not the right thing for you. And that's the way we look at it. But here is the right thing for you. We can still be connected, and we can still have a conversation, and we all can grow from that. And that's what I love about the whole atmosphere and the whole environment that we have here. All right, Tobe, thank you so much, Toby,
That's
and
the
we'll
one.
be back, guys. I don't know when, but very, very soon.
Very soon.
All right.
See you later, guys.
Adios. Ciao, everyone.
Bye.